Wow.
Yeah.
So, this is it, huh?
Yeah, this here is the Henry Hotel. The Henry Hotel.
Yeah, I've heard about it. So actually, Ocean City is celebrating its 150th anniversary.
Do tell.
And they asked me to do something about its history.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I had to talk to you. But you said that out of almost like everything here, this place was the only thing that you would talk about.
No, because you can't talk about the history of Ocean City and all of this stuff they done developed here without talking about the Henry Hotel. Now, look, I know it's been closed for years, but this is really what you want your film to be about.
You're a historian, and I'm a filmmaker. I mean, like, between the two of us, I'm sure we can make it a big deal, right?
Well, for starters, this house that's here now was built in 1916. The building and the lot here were all acquired by Charles T. Henry back in December, about 10 years later. I think it was 1926. Yeah, 1926. Yeah. Now, when he was younger, Charles Henry worked as a mail carrier, a postman between Berlin and Ocean City. He was a school bus driver in Worcester County, but he became very active in this area in terms of business. Now, he wasn't as big as someone like Daniel Trimper, the German immigrant guy that built the amusement park right across the street from here, but Charles Henry knew that owning a property and being your own boss was very important. And about 1924, he bought a plot of land at $700, which is probably about what he paid for the hotel. In fact, he was literally the son of a preacher man. He grew up in the church and always attended St. Paul's United Methodist Church. I believe is in Berlin. Yeah, Berlin. Now, even when he didn't agree with the church, he still went. I mean, he was, a little liberal in his ways, and he fit in fine today, but back then it wouldn't have been so comfortable and accepting. But I tell you what, he always saw the value of faith and helping others.
Now, some of you may know, but in 1922, only 4 years ago, Ocean City enacted a new ordinance. It said that it was unlawful for any bathers of colored race to use any portion of the beach fronting on the Atlantic Ocean. Did y'all hear what I just said? It was unlawful for us colored folks to use any portion of the beach that faces the mighty Atlantic. Now, we talk about how we're segregated here on land, but to cut us off from the whole ocean is ludicrous. What are we to do with that? This is deeply unfair, and we must work together to repeal this racist ordinance.
Yes, Reverend.
Hey, Charles, can I have a word with you?
Why, yes, Reverend. I'd have to say, your speech was very inspiring.
Thank you.
Me and my wife went on one of those so-called colored excursion days in Ocean City. But when we went to the section of the beach where we, color folk, were permitted to bathe, we were almost arrested. Yes. It seems the section for colored folk is even further removed than what it was last year. Obviously, it's because they're building that new hotel on 14th, on the northern end of town.
It's rules like that is the reason why I'd like to speak with you. Let me ask you this question. When you and your wife, Charles, went to Ocean City on excursion day, did the two of you stay overnight in a resort town?
Come on now, Reverend. You and I both know There are no hotels in Ocean City that will let us color folk stay the night.
Exactly. What about the workers that work there? We have plenty of black workers such as waiters, dishwashers, bellmans, and even janitors. The folks that even work at shells and trimpers who have nowhere to stay, but they work all through the night.
Didn't they have one of those Negro quarters at the Atlantic Hotel or along Worcester? In fact, my wife's friend, Arlen Robbins, she built the first Negro boarding house about 20 years ago.
Charles, that was 20 years ago. Most of those places now have been either torn or burned down to the ground.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, Reverend. But how could I be of any help?
Charles, you and I have both worked together to help a lot of our people here in Berlin. We've done great things. But we need to put our focus now on the people in Ocean City. So Charles, have you ever been inside?
I said, yes, I have. I delivered letters here when I was a mailman.
See, the fact is, this hotel here is not really a hotel. It's actually a boarding house. And most places like this are ran by white folks. A lot of our folks here in Ocean City, they don't feel safe. They don't even feel like they get a fair deal. And this is where you come into the picture.
Welcome, sir. Why don't you come on in?
Please, you can call me Thomas. And I was told you'd be interested in taking that property off of me.
Why, yes, sir. Yes, Thomas.
Normally, I'd be a bit skeptical, but apparently you got quite the reputation around here in Berlin. I figured you'd want to stay closer to home, though.
Yes, sir. As you can see, we're here in the black side of Berlin. When the white folk across the highway wouldn't let us live there, we came on across and made Brittletown. Seems like it's going to have to be the same way in Ocean City. You see, they won't let us stay in those nice hotels they have. Seems we're going to have to make our own. And that starts with me buying yours. So what do you say?
Got some gumption, Mr. Henry. You sure got some gumption. Congratulations. The place is yours.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Thomas, sir. Thank you.
So yeah, I had a fence and all of this stuff came out lately, but
Hey,
yeah, what?
wait a second. This marker, this marker says that that big time entertainers like Cab Calloway and
That's what I say.
and Duke Ellington stayed here. Is
No,
that true?
no. I checked with Katz. He's the guy that's over the foundation,
Yeah.
the Henry Hotel Foundation. And believe me, he reassured me, big time stars like Duke Ellington or Willie Harmon, Cab Calloway, Count Basie. No, this wasn't for them. Those were big stars, not like your Beyonce and all of that, but they were big stars.
Yeah.
They were stars.
Yeah.
That played instruments. But I tell you this was more for the common folk, the waiters, the bellhops, the people that were, kind of invisible to folks that had money. This is where the folks that nobody that had a voice, this is where they would whisper their dreams about life and all that. But you know what? I tell you this, but if they came to perform, they couldn't stay here.
Okay.
Because see, they would perform, but then after that they cut out of here. So this was just for regular folks. These rooms are too small for somebody like a Duke Ellington and all of that kind of stuff.
Sometimes I do wonder what I would have done if I lived back then. I'm Billy Strayhorn. I lived with Duke Ellington, and he's actually a good friend. We worked together from time to time, and he even paid for me to come down to New York.
I'm aware of who Mr. Ellington is, Mr. Strayhorn. He likes to play at Dance Land on 17th, but even when he comes to town, he's told the same.
It's late, and I'm tired, and what you're getting at is that I have nowhere to stay?
I'm sorry, sir. Our hotel just doesn't serve your kind.
My kind? My kind just brought you in a whole lot of money in a sold-out show. What do you mean, my kind?
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Perhaps I could be some help.
I'm sorry, who are you?
I'm Charles T. Henry, sir. I'd have to say, I've been a fan of blues my whole life, but you sure turned me to jazz.
Why, thank you. It's
Yes.
a very kind thing to say.
Yes. I heard you have nowhere to stay. Perhaps I call Jack Smack for you?
Jack Smack? Who the heck is Jack Smack?
Oh, he's nothing but a dear friend of mine. He owns a taxi service here in Ocean City. He can take you to a railroad or a nearby bus station. Heard you trying to get back to New York?
Eventually, yes, but me and my band, all their instruments are in the van, and that van has now broken down. So, I mean, we do need a place to stay tonight.
Well, that sure is unfortunate. But you're just in luck. I've got a place called the Henry Hotel, just across the street there. It's made for color folk like you and I, for us to have a place to rest our heads tonight. Ones that cook, clean the streets up, and entertain them like you do.
Your hotel wouldn't by chance be a juke joint, would it?
I say, Mr. Strayhorn, you and your band staying for a couple nights? We can sure turn it into one.
Well, make the room and board free, and you have yourself a deal.
Sounds like a deal, Mr. Strayhorn. Sounds like a deal.
Not long after Charles bought all this, Ocean City was hit, bam, by a big old hurricane. 1933. I mean, it destroyed everything, flooded all businesses and homes and everything. You know what? What we call the inlet right now, that used to be neighborhoods, small little businesses. Yeah, people used to live there, see? But it was all gone, you know, and what destroyed it was, you know, it seemed like Mother Nature just turned on the whole community, except the Henry Hotel. In fact, it's probably one of the oldest places standing in this part of town. It's still standing while everything else around it has changed. New hotels, new condos, but it didn't matter because when you think of Ocean City history, this is it. And you know why, young blood? Because of the hand of the good Lord. And the hotel wants to tell its own story. Listen, come here. Listen. Don't pay attention to all the cars. All right? Don't pay attention to the bus. Listen to the hotel whisper. You see what I'm saying? Whisper the stories that was lost from normal people. Not a star, not a Duke Ellington, but just regular working people. Don't pay attention to the background noises. Listen, because it's going to tell its own story. You and I, we're just here to help it along.